Good morning, beautiful people, lovely souls out there. This morning, I want to talk a little bit about possessions, our possessions, and how sometimes we cling to the material world so strongly in our lives, which is neither a good nor a bad thing. It's all part of the process of learning, right? So yeah, it's Saturday morning, beautiful morning out here. I'm at Westwood Park, and I actually drove my car around here today, which is what kind of sparked the idea for the topic. Possessions, right? So let me take you guys on a little story. I currently drive a BMW GT 550i, twin turbo, all leather, wood grain, all the little bells and whistles and things. And people a lot of times hear me preach and say, especially people that work with me, about not putting your money on things like this and not, especially in the beginnings, not worrying about the possessions and the brands and the flash and the bling and so on and so forth. At the very least, not worrying about not making it a center focus of your attention. To each his own, right? Some people, that is the definition of success and, of being happy is having some material items they want. I can definitely say for myself, that was a large part of my life, having these material things and then getting them myself. And the biggest reason I say it's neither a good nor a bad thing, because as we all say, it's a journey, it's a progress, it's a process. The life universe has a lot of things to teach us. For me, once I had all the things I thought I wanted, my own spot downtown, a loft, a car, money to buy back then, weed and alcohol and party stuff and whatever else I needed, I thought I'd be happy, and it couldn't be possibly further from the truth. I think Jim Carrey or one of the great actors that actually speak motivational stuff said it as well, just like this. They said that I wish every single person could go get their wildest dreams as far as finances and money and success, can go get them immediately, go get them as fast as possible, because the faster they do, the faster they realize that that's not what they were actually searching for, that that's not the happiness. So yeah, for me in this BMW, 5 years ago, I came to LA, with my ex-wife now. And after a couple weeks, we had our issues and she left, and I was kind of left stranded and homeless, living out of a minivan in LA. And I didn't know anybody. I had one person that, we met on the East Coast that I was selling hair to, that I, somewhat, if not trusted, wanted to trust because he's the only person I knew. So when my ex-wife left, I started, sharing with this guy about it, and I was working with him in a store and things like that as well. And this is like, there's good people, there's bad people, whatever. I don't like to, distinguish too much between that. I think it's actions, right? And the actions he was making back then are just not aligned with what I was looking for in my life or where I was moving into in my life. Definitely a lot of my past was about it. I mean, everything from, stolen cars to CPN numbers and second social security numbers to bank fraud, check fraud, wire fraud, to frauding their hair clients, to everything. And I, kind of got mixed in that quickly. So fast forward a little bit without going into all the details of this story. Eventually it came to a point where he needed a new car for his family, but he didn't, for some reason, have the credit or something he needed. So at this point in my life, I was basically depressed. I was drinking every day, but I was working every day. I remember he drug me down to CarMax on a day I was hungover and feeling particularly vulnerable and weak and just missing my ex. And somehow, I don't even remember the whole way, somehow I ended up signing the paperwork there. Mind you, I've never bought a car, never bought anything big in my name, so I didn't even think that they would, approve me or whatever the process goes. But they did, and it got down to the end, and I was like, whatever, if he's going to pay me, it's just my name, it's not a big deal. So I bought the car for him. In my name, down payment, everything. A month later, he kind of started going ghost, hiding the car, not answering the calls, and not paying the car note. So the next month ensues a huge chase and fight and argument, we having to find him and eventually confront him in front of his whole family and get the keys back and get my car back. And then, once I thought I had done what I needed to do, I all of a sudden had close to $1,000 car note with insurance per month in a new city, Los Angeles, where I'm barely able to make it. Don't even have a home at this point. And I don't know how to survive. I don't know how I'm going to pay everything. So And I tell a lot of people this also, that big expense you don't want to make. A lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, when we overextend ourselves a little bit and we're put in a position where we have to make ends meet, otherwise, we'll have large consequences. We level up and we make it happen. And I did. I'm not going to say that I would choose to do this route again. But definitely, the next months, following that, started making more money, started doing better. I started noticing how people in LA would respond to me in a BMW GT, new looking car, versus me, sitting at the mall, popping open my minivan trunk. And, once again, it taught me like the power of money and materialism in the society we live in. I guess it's kind of a facade of power, right? And unfortunately, so much of our generations in front of us, and even some of them before us, get kind of seduced into following that lifestyle in those ways. And I'm not one that missed it. I definitely myself get seduced into it in the past, and sometimes still do. However, it did teach me a big lesson in the fact of so many ways. One, that, I can overextend myself this much and still make it work. Two, that, especially in vulnerable moments, I have to be really careful with my energy and who I trust and put myself around. Three, the point I'm at now, I don't even drive anymore. I haven't been in this car in a couple months. I realized how little we actually need all these things we hold on to. In the past, I used to be so nervous about my car and always wanted it to be perfect, and I couldn't do anything unless my car was running. And now, living in LA, I guess it's easier, but I'm able to get around to everything I need to do still, even without my vehicle, if I didn't have my vehicle. But the point is this, I recently even bought a pair of Balenciaga $1,400 shoes. And I had to really struggle with myself to make that decision, but I did want to have, one outfit that kind of fit and aligned with all these like Instagram influencers and things that I'm meeting that are coming into my showroom, just to kind of be on that kind of vibe. And I did feel bad about it a little bit. But I knew I was following universal energy when I got home, and all of a sudden the exact amount for the shoes was kind of given right back to me for free, in various ways. So, and once again showed me like, hey, Rocky, you're not the type of person that's going to go buy this stuff every weekend. You're not the type of person that's buying new cars and bling and stuff like that and just trying to look like you got it. I actually like spending my money on experiences, people, family, business, growth, and fun. I will, go out to a really nice dinner and take friends out and cover a large bill because I enjoy that and I enjoy the experience in the company. But the material world, right? Like chasing to own these things and cars and certain watches and certain shoes. I think for entrepreneur lifestyles, we can have all that, right? Like we're going to eventually make the money, especially when we're entrepreneurs, we're hustling, we're dedicated, we're focused, no matter what the product or service is. But if your end goal, is money and those material things in mind, it's sad, right? Because you'll get it. You will. Especially with the entrepreneur mindset, with hustle and heart and dedication, you'll get it. But it won't be enough when you do get it. And you won't appreciate it when you do have it. And, they say, like, if you're not happy while you're working, to make the money to earn for a trip, then you go on that trip, you're not going to be really happy. You're going to find other ways to say, oh, I'm not here long enough, or oh, this, or oh, that. And that begins a dangerous pattern. For me, when I got to the point a year or so ago when I was quote unquote successful money wise and I was still miserable, it scared me. I was like, oh shit, I can do everything I thought I needed to do, make all this money and look like success, but still be sad inside. That's terrifying. That's terrifying for me, for myself and for anybody. And that's when I think I really started to snap and realize, you know what, like I need to work on the stuff inside of me. I need to work on connection to the universe and to nature and to people and to humans, and to make my end goals in mind of service and delivering value. And what my nature is letting people around me have a good time. And that doesn't necessarily coincide with just having a lot of money. These days, monies and materials are important. All of us, we survive on them and we thrive with them. But they're definitely not the solve all problems. When I have people working for me that, are constantly, that are getting paid, to work from home, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, it's 20 to 30, 40,000 plus a year. And their money habits are still at a place where they're not able to level up ever. That's scary to me, because you can work your ass off and have a successful business, but you can't manage your money and place your sights on deeper and larger picture things. It's like they'll always be in a rat race, chasing what's the next coolest, what's the next best, what's the next flashy thing. And I'm blessed that I was able to go through it, to even have my family show me a lot of it, and then to come out the other side and realize, all this stuff isn't really necessary. Now, when I bought those pair of shoes, I've worn maybe 3 or 4 times, it was almost like an investment. And then it did make me feel like, you know what, Rock, you worked your butt off. You want to have an outfit that is nice and it looks good and it's branded and it looks, cool or flashy to the modern, influencer on Instagram. And you can do that. And I did it. Now, I've been working with Instagram influencers and been in LA for 5 years now. And I don't even think I've been shopping beyond Banana Republic and spent a couple $100 on some new clothes in the last 4 or 5 years. Even my parents came out and bought me some clothes sometimes, which, sorry guys, I don't even wear or fit me anymore. But, yeah, man, the BMW story for me is a big one that I'll share continuously in life. There's so many just random lessons on it. I could just be mad at that guy that did that and frauded me and kind of screwed me over. But how could I? Look at the blessings that came and the lessons I've learned since then. Even though when it happened, I was like, man, worst position ever, out here homeless, alone, getting taken advantage of, getting cars bought in my name, getting money stolen. It got me to where I am, just like getting robbed, getting, played with sexually, getting abused, getting sent to boot camps, getting almost killed, getting locked up, sent to prison, brought me to where I am now. And I'm sharing this now because everyone doesn't learn like me, right? Like me, I have to go through it. And other people, who, in my opinion, are a lot smarter, can learn through the experience and strength and knowledge and hope and words of others. And that's why it is. There's some people out there that are, confused or worried or even thinking along these same topics and not sure because you're in a family or environment where they tell you to, push it for the money to get this, to get that, to make sure you have the new kicks or make sure you have the new whips. Ignore it. It's not real. It really, truly is a facade. People will only temporarily like you, quote unquote, better for money when you have it. And really it'll harbor a lot more different and conflicting feelings within both them and you when the relationship is based on that. So that's my little 2 cents, y'all. Like I said, I was in my car this morning and thought about it. Wanted to play tennis today, but both my walls are taken by an old doubles couple and a young Asian couple. So I hit on the little mini wall and came inside to rap with you guys for a second. Thank you for listening in. If you made it this far, bless you. I appreciate you listening to me rambling on my phone in the mornings. And I would love if any of you out there have any topics you want to discuss or talk about, or just come hop on and vibe with me for a little bit and, share your knowledge and your experience and what you've been through, with the people that listen in. If not, subscribe, share this for someone else who might find value in it. And buy me a coffee. And as always, the one rule is, if you live in LA, I do not accept digital coffees. Meet me at a coffee shop and let's say what's up. Peace, love, and blessings to you all. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend and week ahead, wherever you are in life, wherever you are in the world. I love you. I respect you. You're a crucial part of every beautiful thing that's happening for us now and in the future. Take care of yourself. Be blessed. And reach out to people with like minds. Peace, guys.